Hello everyone, how are you? I am Akrash, your teacher here, and I will teach you different questions and their answers. So I welcome you on classtheta.com. So our today's question is: the story of Phar-Mor shows how quickly a company that builds its earnings on fraudulent transactions can dissolve like an Alka-Seltzer. One day, Cherelstein, the controller of Phar-Mor, discovered cabinets stuffed with held checks totaling $10 million. Phar-Mor could not release the check to vendor because it did not have enough cash in the bank to cover the amount. Cherelstein wondered what he should do. Background: Phar-Mor was a chain of discount drugstores based in Youngstown, Ohio, and founded in 1982 by Michael Monus and David Shapira. In less than 10 years, the company grew from 15 to 310 stores and had 25,000 employees, according to litigation release number 14716 issued by the SC1. Phar-Mor and cumulatively overstated income by $290 million between 1987 and 1991. In 1992, prior to disclosure of the fraud, the company overstated income by an additional $238 million. The cost of characters: Mickey Monus personifies the hard-driving entrepreneur who is bound and determined to make it big, whatever the cost. He served as the president and chief operating officer of Phar-Mor from its inception until a corporate restructuring was announced on July 28, 1992. David Shapira was the CEO of both Phar-Mor and Giant Eagle, Phar-Mor's parent company, and majority stockholders. Giant Eagle also owned Tamco, which was one of Phar-Mor's major suppliers. Shapira left day-to-day operations to Phar-Mor to Monus until the fraud became too large and persistent to ignore. Patrick Finn was the CFO of Phar-Mor from 1988 to 1992. He brought Monus the bad news that following a number of years eroding profits, the company faced millions in losses. In 1999, John Anderson was the accounting manager at Phar-Mor, hired after completing a college degree in accounting at Youngstown State University. Anderson's become a part of the fraud Cooper's labyrinth prior to its merger with Price Waterhouse were the auditors of Phar-Mor. The firm failed to detect the fraud as it was unfolding. How it started: the facts of this case are taken from the SEC filing and a PBS Frontline episode called How to Steal $500 Million. The interpretation of the fact is consistent with report, but some literary lessons has been taken to add intrigue to the case. Finn approached Monus with the bad news. Monus took out his pen, crossed off the losses, and then wrote in a higher number to show a profit. Monus could not bear the thought of his hot growth company that had been sizzling for 5 years suddenly flaming out. In the beginning, it was to be short-term fix to bad time while the company improved efficiency, put the heat on suppliers for lower prices, and turned a profit. Finn believed Monus' ability to turn things around, so he went along with the fraud. Also, he thought of himself as a team player. Finn prepared the report, and Monus changed the number for 4 months before turning the task over to Finn. These reports with the false numbers were fixed to Shapira and given to Phar-Mor's fraud. Basically, the company was lying to its owners. The fraud occurred by dumping the losses into a bucket account and then reallocating the sums to one of the company's hundreds of stores in the form of increase in inventory amounts. For more issued like invoices for merchandise purchases and made furniture entries to increase inventory and decrease cost of sales. The company overcounted and double counted merchandise in inventory. The fraud was helped by the fact that the auditors from Coopers observed inventory in only 4 out of 300 stores, and that allowed the finance department at Phar-Mor to conceal the shortages. Moreover, Coopers informed Phar-Mor in advance which store they would visit. Phar-Mor executives fully stocked the 4 selected stores but allocated the phony inventory increase to the other 296 stores. Regardless of the accounting tricks, Phar-Mor was heading for collapse as its suppliers threatened to cut off the company for non-payment bills. Stan Cherelstein, a CPA, was hired to be the controller of Phar-Mor in 1991. Long after the fraud had begun, one day Anderson called Cherelstein into his office and explained that the company had been keeping 2 sets of books, one that showed the true state of the company with the losses, and the other called ledger that showed the falsified numbers that were presented to the auditors. Cherelstein and Anderson discussed what to do about the fraud. Cherelstein asked Anderson why he had not done something about it. Anderson asked how could he, was the new kid on the block. Besides, Pat seemed to be disinterested in confronting Monus. Cherelstein was not happy about the situation and felt like he had responsibility. He demanded to meet with Monus. Cherelstein did get Monus to agree to repay the company for the losses from Monus' investment of company fraud funds into the World Basketball League, but Monus never kept in his word. In the beginning, Cherelstein felt compelled to give Monus some time to turn things around through increased efficiencies and by using a device called exclusivity fees, which vendor paid to get Phar-Mor to stock their products. Over time, Cherelstein became more and more uncomfortable as the suppliers called more and more frequently, demanding payment on their invoices. Accounting fraud, misappropriation of assets. The unfortunate reality of the Phar-Mor's saga was that it involved not only bogus inventory but also the diversion of company funds to feed Monus' personal habit. One example was the movement of $10 million in company funds to help start the WBL Ford's financial statements. According to the ruling by the U.S. Court of Appeals that heard Monus appeals of his conviction on all 109 counts of fraud, the company submitted false financial statement to Pittsburgh National Bank, which increased a revolving credit line for Phar-Mor from $435 million to $600 million in March 1992. It also defrauded corporate partner and investment group that bought $200 million in Phar-Mor stock in June 1991. The list goes on, including the defrauding of Chemical Bank, which served as the placing agent of for $155 million in 10-year senior secured notes issued to Phar-Mor Westinghouse Credit Corporation, which had executed a $50 million million loan commitment to Phar-Mor in 1997, and Westminster National Bank, which saved the placing agent for 112 million in Phar-Mor stock, sold to various financial institutions in 1991. Tamco relationship. The early financial troubles experienced by Phar-Mor in 1988 can be attributed to at least two transactions. The first was that the company provided cheap discounts to retailers to stock its stores with products. There was concern early on the margins were too thin. The second was that its suppliers Tamco was shipping partial orders to Phar-Mor while billing for full orders. Phar-Mor had no way of knowing this because it was not logging its shipment from Tamco. After the deficiency was discovered, Giant Eagle agreed to pay Phar-Mor $7 million in 1988 on behalf of Tamco. Phar-Mor later bought Tamco from Giant Eagle in an additional effort to solve the inventory and billing problem. However, the losses just kept on coming. A Unit 2 case study 2 Phar-Mor Unit 157. You will write a 17-page lessons learned paper. In this paper, describe ethical theories and principles that was evident that become more evident after reflection. Please answer the following question in your papers. How did you exemplify giving voice to values? GVV lesson for the week. What soft skills did you use to accomplish the task? How did you display courage? What takeaways did you acquire to show your ethics? You should strive to write well, clearly, succinctly, professionally, and powerfully to convey an ethical message. The story of Phar-Mor, a case of fraudulent practices. The story of Phar-Mor exemplifies how swiftly a company built on fraudulent practices can crumble, akin to an Alka-Seltzer freezing away. One pivotal day, Cherelstein, the controller of Phar-Mor, stumbled upon cabinet brimming with held check totaling a staggering $10 million. Phar-Mor found itself in a dilemma, unable to release the check to vendors due to an insufficient cash reserve. Cherelstein pondered over the situation, contemplating his next move. Playground Phar-Mor, a chain of discount drugstores, was established in Youngstown, Ohio in 1982 by Michael Monus and David Shapira. In less than a decade, the company burgeoned from 15 to 10 stores, employing over 25,000 individuals. As per litigation release number 14716 issued by the SEC, Phar-Mor had overstated its income by a cumulative $290 million between 1987 to 1991. Furthermore, in 1992, prior to the disclosure of the fraud, the company overstated its income by an additional $238 million. The cost of characters Mickey Monus embodied the archetype of a relentless entrepreneur determined to achieve colossal success at any cost. He served as the president and chief operating officer of Phar-Mor from its inception until a corporate restructuring was announced on July 28, 1992. David Shapira, the CEO of both Phar-Mor and Giant Eagle, Phar-Mor parent company and majority stockholder Giant Eagle, also owned Tamco, one of Phar-Mor's major suppliers. Shapira delegated the day-to-day operations of Phar-Mor to Monus until the fraud became too glaring to overlook. Patrick Finn served as the CFO of Phar-Mor from 1988 to 1992. He delivered the grim news to Monus that following several years of dwindling profit, the company faced millions in losses. In 1989, John Anderson held the position of accounting manager at Phar-Mor. Hired fresh after completing a college degree in accounting at Youngstown State University, Anderson became complicit in the fraud Cooper's labyrinth. The auditors of Phar-Mor, before their merge with Price Waterhouse, the firm failed to detect the fraud as it was unfolding. How it began. The following narrative draws from the SEC filing and PBS Frontline episode titled How to Steal $500 Million. While the facts are aligned with reports, some literary liberties have been taken to infuse intrigue into the case. Finn approached Monus with distressing news. Monus, unwilling to accept defeat, crossed out the losses with his pen and replaced them with inflated figures to project a profit. Monus was unwilling to witness the collapse of his rapidly expanding company, which had enjoyed 5 years of unbridled success. Initially intended as a temporary measure to buy time while the company enhanced its efficiency and pressured suppliers for lower prices to turn a profit, the fraud persisted. Finn, believing in Monus' ability to effect a turnaround, acquiesced to the deception. Considering himself a team player, Finn compiled the reports and Monus manipulated the numbers for 4 months before delegating the task back to Finn. These reports, featuring falsified figures, were faxed to Shapira and presented to Phar-Mor's board. Essentially, the company was deceiving its owners. The fraud entailed concealing loser in a pocket account and subsequently reallocating the sums to one of the company's mail store. In the case of increased inventory amounts, Phar-Mor issued spurious invoices for merchandise purchases and fabricated journal entries to inflate inventory and deflate cost of sales. The company engaged in overcounting and double counting merchandise in inventory. The auditors from Coopers only inspected inventory in 4 out of 300 stores, enabling Phar-Mor's finance department to mask the shortages. Furthermore, Coopers notified Phar-Mor in advance which stores they would visit. Phar-Mor executives meticulously stocked and 4 selected stores while allocated the fictitious inventory increased to the remaining 296 stores. Despite the accounting legitimate, Phar-Mor was teetering on the brink of collapse, with suppliers threatening to serve ties due to unpaid bills. 10. Christian role. Christian, a CPA, assumed the role of controller to Phar-Mor in 1991, long after the onset of the fraud. One day, Anderson summoned Cherelstein to his office and divulged the existence of 2 sets of books within the company, one reflecting the true state of affair with the losses, and the other termed subledger exhibiting the falsified members presented to the auditors. Cherelstein and Anderson deliberated over how to address the fraud. Cherelstein queried Anderson on his inaction. Anderson, feeling like and novice in the scenario questioned how he could intervene when Finn seemed disinterested in confronting Morse. Cherelstein found himself disconcerted by the situation and sensed heightened obligation. He demanded a meeting with Monus. Cherelstein did succeed in coaxing Monus into committing to reimburse the company for the losses from Monus' personal investment of company's funds into the World's Basketball League. However, Monus reneged on his promise initially. Cherelstein felt compelled to afford Monus time to effect improvement through increased efficiencies and the utilization of exclusively fees paid prevented to Phar-Mor to stock their product over time. Cherelstein grew increasingly Unisys suppliers escalated their demands for payment on outstanding invoices, accounting fraud, misappropriation of assets. The lamentable truth underlying the Phar-Mor saga was that it encompassed not only fictitious inventory but also the diversion of company funds to fuel Monus' personal indulgences. One instance involved the transfer of $10 million in company funds to facilitate the commencement of the WBL false financial statement as per the ruling of the U.S. Court of Appeals, which heard Monus appeal of his conviction on all 109 counts of fraud. The company submitted false financial statement to Pittsburgh National Bank, leading to an increase in our revolving credit line for Phar-Mor from $435 million to $600 million in March 1992. Furthermore, it defrauded corporate partners and investment group to the purchase $200 million in Phar-Mor stock in June 1991. Among other, the list of defrauded entities extend Chemical Bank, which served the placing agent for $155 million 10-year senior secured notes issued to Phar-Mor. Westinghouse Credit Corporation, which had executed $50 million loan committed to Phar-Mor in 1987, and Westminster National Bank, which served as the placing agent for $112 million in Phar-Mor stock, sold to various financial institutions in 1991. To make a relationship, the initial financial challenges encountered Phar-Mor in 1998 can be attributed to at least two transactions. Firstly, the company extended substantial discount to retailers to stock its stored with, but such as rising early concerns about thinking profit margins. Secondly, its suppliers Tamco dispatched partial orders to Phar-Mor while invoicing for a full order. Phar-Mor remains oblivious to this practice due to its failure to log in shipment from Tamco. Upon uncovering the discrepancy, Giant Eagle agreed to the remit $7 million to Phar-Mor in 1988 on behalf of Tamco. Subsequently, Phar-Mor acquired Tamco from Giant Eagle in a bid to resolve the inventory and invoicing issues. However, the losses persisted unabated. Conclusion: the case of Phar-Mor serves as a poignant reminder of the perils of succumbing to fraudulent practices in the pursuit of corporate success. It underscores the critical role of the ethical decision making in preventing the integrity and sustainability of business. Upholding ethical principles is not only a moral imperative but also a strategic imperative for the long-term viability and prosperity of organizations. Reflection of ethical theories and principles. The case of Phar-Mor offers a rich tapestry of the examination of various ethical theories and principles. Notably, it starkly illustrates the ethical dilemmas arising from utilia, utilitarianism, virtue ethics, and the treaty-based approach of deontology. Utilitarian, utilitarianism, Monus' relentless pursuit of corporate success at any cost, embodies of utilitarian perspective where the ends justify the means. However, the consequentialist approach of utilitarianism fails to account for the moral implication of fraudulent practices, leading to severe repercussions for stakeholders. Virtue ethics, Monus' character epitomizes the vices of greed and deceit, starkly contrasted with the virtue of honesty, integrity, and transparency. The cause undergoes the importance of fostering virtuous character traits among organizational leaders to ensure ethical conduct and foster trust among stakeholders. Deontology, the ethical obligations of honesty, accountability, and transparency are central to the deontological approach. Cherelstein unwavering commitment to confronting the fraud despite facing considerable personal and professional risks exemplifies and application of deontological principles, giving rise to values lesson. The Phar-Mor case underscores the importance of giving rise to value in confronting ethical dilemmas within organization. Cherelstein's courage stands in challenging the fraudulent practices at Phar-Mor exemplifies the principles of GVV in action by speaking up against wrongdoing and advocating for ethical conduct. Cherelstein demonstrated the power of individual agency in upholding organizational integrity and fostering a culture of ethical leadership. Soft skills utilize achieving the task of addressing the fraud at Phar-Mor necessitated the utilization of various soft skills. Thank you for watching the video. If you have any question related to this video, please post a comment below. If you have any question in your mind, you can also post on the website and I will be answering you in the next video. Thank you for engaging with us. Until next video, bye bye.